My feeling, very strong feeling, is that we're looking at a two-phase construction site in many of the so-called Inca stone monuments.
Massive granite blocks weighing over 100 tons are enough to blow anyone's mind. But Sacsayhuamán is hiding something even crazier. Beneath the surface lies a subterranean labyrinth that connects the entire city of Cusco in ways we are just starting to understand. Ground-penetrating radar is finally revealing the secrets that local legends have whispered for centuries.
They've even stumbled across what they believe may be a collapsed tunnel system. Some claims that the tunnels extend far out into the Andes, connecting various complexes and sites together.
We are looking at a two-phase construction site where the bottom half is actually more advanced than the top. It is almost like the builders were trying to hide a massive machine under a mountain of stone. Magnetic fields, scramble compasses, and rumors of chambers that swallow people whole are common. Who built what is beneath this place, and why is it still off limits? Forbidden depths found under ancient stones. Sacsayhuamán is a place that feels like it belongs to another world. Most people who visit just see the massive stones on top and think they have seen the whole story. But here is the deal. Recent dig sites are showing that these walls extend deep below the surface, with the same level of precision and size as the parts everyone takes pictures of. It is a massive shock to the system.
Mysteries of Sacsayhuamán go much deeper than just on the surface.
Experts are now realizing that we are looking at a two-phase construction site. This means the stuff underneath might have been there way before the people we call the Incas even arrived. It is like Sacsayhuamán is not just a fortress, but the lid of something buried and intentionally forgotten. Beneath those massive stones lies a lot more than just dirt. There are tunnels that no one is allowed to enter. These tunnels extend far out into the mountains, connecting different sites together like a subway system from thousands of years ago. The mysteries here go much deeper than anyone thought. There are magnetic fields that scramble compasses and rumors of chambers that stretch for miles. Some people say these tunnels have even swallowed explorers whole. The forbidden depths are real. Long before people brought high-tech radar equipment to the site, local legends whispered about a world beneath the surface. They talked about hidden chambers and endless tunnels that led to secrets the world was not meant to see. And when ground-penetrating radar was finally used in the 2010s, those whispers started to feel very true. Researchers found anomalies and deep voids that should not be there. They found angled chambers and what looked like carved tunnels, stretching both downward and outward from the main plateau. One specific spot is beneath a circular foundation called the Muyuk Marca Tower. Radar imaging revealed what looked like hollow corridors cut through solid bedrock. Some of these drop several yards in sharp patterns that do not happen in nature.
The most basic signature that we would be looking for would be the foundations of circular structures.
This was no accident of geology. These structures were created on purpose and then hidden away. In fact, several of the known entrances to these underground features were officially sealed off by the government in the early 20th century. The reason for the secrecy is pretty dark. According to local archives, multiple young explorers had entered the tunnels over the years, only for some of them to never come back. One scary case in 1923 involved a teenager whose disappearance caused a massive panic. The only thing found afterward was a partially collapsed wall and scorch marks inside a sealed cavity. No official explanation was ever given. But the most startling fact is that some of these tunnels are said to run all the way from the fortress to the Temple of the Sun in central Cusco. That is over 1 mile of underground walking. That is not just a simple tunnel. That is precision planning. Some believe the builders merely reused much older structures built by a lost civilization. Others point to similarities with the vaults of Egypt or sites in Bolivia. Could these tunnels have served as escape routes for royalty? Or were they something even more complex? To this day, studies in this zone remain incomplete because of unexplained interference. Signals drop and equipment stops working. One theory says the area has a natural magnetic anomaly. Another claim says there is buried ancient technology down there. Whatever the truth is, the real story of this place is still buried beneath our feet. But the ground is not the only thing hiding secrets at this site. Cursed Stone of the Fallen Workers. Just a short walk from the main complex lies an object so massive that locals have given it a name soaked in fear. They call it the Tired Stone. It is nearly 30 feet long and weighs over 200 tons. The Tired Stone sits tilted against a slope, looking like it just gave up during a long move. According to local stories, thousands of laborers were tasked with moving this stone from a quarry miles away. But during the transport, it slipped and crushed an entire group of workers. After the disaster, people said the stone was cursed. But this is where the mystery gets even more intense. Behind the stone lies what looks like an ancient entrance in the earth, partly buried by dirt and plants. In the early 20th century, explorers claimed this was a formal entrance that led directly into a vast tunnel. Spanish records from the 16th century even mention a grand underground path from this point that led to hidden vaults filled with golden statues. These stories fueled the idea that the stone did not stop randomly. It was placed there to seal something important. In 1989, a team of researchers tried to dig around the stone. They found a man-made cavity nearly 13 feet deep with tool marks on the walls. It even looked like the start of a stairway. However, just days into the dig, the project was stopped. The official reason was safety, but rumors spread that the researchers found symbols that were not from any known local language. No photos were ever released. In 1996, an infrared scan showed a hollow chamber beneath the stone. Despite this, no modern project has been allowed to go back. Some say the government is just protecting a sacred site, while others think they are keeping something hidden from the public forever. It feels like the work was just dropped, and everyone left in a hurry because of some massive event. Even the foundations under these rocks tell a story that doesn't make sense. What makes the underground mystery even more unsettling is what engineers noticed when the bottom layers were exposed. These are not simple foundations. Beneath the visible walls lies a buried tier of construction that looks older and more massive. In some spots, the lower stones are actually bigger than the ones on top. This breaks a basic rule of building that the local people usually followed. Usually they refined their work over time, but here the most advanced work is at the very bottom. Geologists have noted that some of these lower stones are cut directly into the mountain itself. The tool marks on these buried stones are different too. They are broader and deeper. Some say this could not have been done with simple copper tools and stone hammers. It looks more like machine work. Even more puzzling is that some foundation stones were placed before the hill was even fully formed. This suggests the whole mountain might have been reshaped after construction started. This leads to the theory that the Incas inherited an ancient core structure and just built on top of it. Similar patterns are found at other sites where highly refined masonry sits on top of massive blocks that no one can date. In some cases, there is no organic material to test, so these layers are basically locked in time. The drainage channels in these buried levels are also way too advanced. Some slope inward, moving water underground instead of away. Why would anyone put that much effort into something meant to stay hidden? Local elders have said the site was built from the inside out. That sounds like a myth until you look at the engineering. Sounds and vibrations coming from the rock itself are the next big shocker. Strange echoes from the breathing stones. There is another layer to the mystery that is not underground, but in the air. Visitors have reported unusual sounds when standing between the zigzag walls. Certain sounds, like claps or footsteps, do not fade away normally. Instead, they bounce in strange patterns, as if the walls were amplifying or changing them. In 2005, a team conducted resonance testing and found that certain frequencies were much stronger between the walls than in the open fields. It was as if the whole structure was tuned like a musical instrument. Even more bizarre are the stories about the breathing stones. During certain times of the day, people claim to hear soft rhythmic pulses coming from the base of the stones. It sounds like deep exhales of air. These are not just stories for tourists. In 2018, an expedition recorded low-frequency vibrations that moved in a wave-like rhythm. Experts tried to say it was just wind, but one researcher suggested the stones might be vibrating because of hollow spaces or energy sources deep below. This has brought back old theories that the site is interacting with the Earth itself. The choice of different types of stone and the interlocking designs might be functional rather than just for looks. Could these stones be designed to catch seismic vibrations? Ancient myths talk about stones that came alive when called upon. Is that just poetry or a description of real physics? Some researchers believe these sites were aligned with Earth energy paths. Looking up might finally reveal the true purpose of this entire mountain. If the tunnels and breathing stones were not enough, the way the site lines up with the sky is another huge mystery. Most people just look at the weight of the rocks, but the whole complex is mapped to the stars. In 2016, a study showed that parts of the fortress aligned perfectly with the sun during the solstices. On those specific days, the sun rises or sets exactly behind certain stone outcrops that look random the rest of the year. But it goes further. According to tradition, the site was an operational calendar. The zigzag walls might track the movement of the sun's shadow across the valley. When those shadows fall at certain angles, they point directly to distant caves or platforms. These were likely used to tell people exactly when to plant their crops. The weird part is how these solar alignments connect to the stuff underground. Several surface lines lead directly to the bricked-up entrances or the empty spaces found by radar. This suggests the builders were coding time and space at the same time. The stones on top marked the heavens, while the passages below tracked something else, like water or even shifts in the earth. Ancient myths speak of a cosmic cycle that resets the world every few thousand years. Could the buried parts of this site be a timekeeping vault for future civilizations? Even the Spanish invaders suspected something was weird. They noted that the local priests kept records in stone and stars rather than on paper. Beyond the walls, there are even more confusing features. There are stone cutouts in the rocky hillsides that defy all logic. These are not buildings. They are natural rocks, with sections carved into perfect geometric shapes right into the mountain. Some look like stairs to nowhere. Others look like perfect rectangular slots or flat platforms. They do not support anything, and they do not connect to anything. In 2013, researchers found a formation called the Inverted Temple. It is a massive rock where deep cavities were cut at exact 90-degree angles. The edges are sharper than what any bronze tool could do. Some experts say it looks like modern machine work. There are also strange knobs on the stones that match sites in Egypt and Turkey. No one knows why they are there. Then there is the magnetism. For the last 20 years, people have reported that compasses stop working near certain stones. The needles spin or lock onto the wrong direction. In 2008, a study found sudden changes in the magnetic field near specific stones. The disturbances were not constant. They would come and go. One drone even lost control when flying over a specific joint in the wall. Data showed a spike in activity that lasted 6 seconds. There was no wiring or metal around to cause it. It was just the stone. This suggests the site was designed to interact with the Earth's magnetic field. Some even think the stones were altered at a molecular level, using sound or energy to make them fit so perfectly. While some people think this is just science fiction, the instruments do not lie. We are looking at a massive mystery that is literally bigger than we can see. What if the tunnels under Sacsayhuamán are actually protecting us from something? Could these ancient sites be more than just ruins? Tell us your theories in the comments below. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries.